Well, I thought, you know, we, for the most part, throughout all 18 innings today, had a really good offensive approach. We saw a lot of different type of pitchers today. The soft toss and lefty from Bucknell that had started the first game. He had done a great job down at Duke last weekend and held them down for 8 1/3 innings. And so, we needed to make sure that our approach going into that first game was right, and it certainly was right from the get-go. And the guys did a nice job, and we did a nice job in both games, tacking on runs when we had opportunities. Harvard starter in the second game had a really good arm. His ball was running all over the place a little bit, and I thought our guys were patient and got good pitches to hit, and certainly had a really great offensive day. I couldn't see that far. To be honest with you, I don't know. Whether it was gone or not. I know he struck it pretty good. So that's a tough call.
Talk a little about him, though. I mean, here's a guy that got hurt early last year, and
Yeah.
could have done something for you, but obviously the injuries took away from it.
hmm
What can he kind of give you now?
Well, he certainly gives us good options. Mike Pappy, had started quite a bit for us in the first half of the year last year and ran into some injury trouble, and certainly had a tough time getting back in there in that lineup late in the season. But he's another big physical left-handed hitter. He's a good athlete that can play any of the outfield positions and first base also, and so. The nice thing I like about this club, I think that we have a lot of good options. It's just not 9 guys. It's an entire team, and there's different players that you can plug in there and give them opportunities, and they step up, and that's a sign of a good ball club.
Jared game one off and respond with, I think, like,
Yeah.
get back from already.
Yeah, it was great to see his last couple of at-bats get a couple of hits in the middle of the field, and he looked like he was swinging the bat better. And this game's tough. You go through tough stretches, and like I talked about last night, he's a mature player and understands what he needs to do to be successful, and it'll come around to him. And it certainly did in that second ball game.
Kirby obviously wasn't helped a whole lot in that first inning.
Yeah.
Got him rattled, and maybe that kind of threw him off there for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was a tough first inning. He didn't help himself with the throw to first base on the bunt, but he gave up 2 runs in the first inning, and they had 1 hit, to center field, and but that's where those walks come back to haunt you, and that's why I was talking about down in East Carolina where he gave up 5 runs. There was a point where they had 3 hits in a row in that ball game, and they hadn't hit the ball of the infield, so. But you have to make your own luck, and he needs to stay away from the walks. And Harvard had a great approach against him, and I just felt that, where we were at in that ball game, and Harvard had jumped us a little bit in the beginning of the game, that, it was time to give the ball to Witt, and, there he is again, and certainly doing the job for this club. That's a valuable guy on our staff because he has so much experience. You can bring him into a situation like that, and he'll make the big pitches.
Gotta be good, too. You played around with the order a little bit that second game, and
Yeah.
your offense produces just as much.
Yeah, I had said coming into this weekend that we were going to try a few different things, plug a few new players in there, experiment with the lineup a little bit, and it was good to see that players don't get emotional about that. That it doesn't matter where they're at in the lineup or where they're playing. They just go out there and compete and do their job.
Joe McCarthy on that first round really just smacked that ball.
Yeah.
So you're impressed with that power.
Yeah, Joe's done a nice job for us. He's got a lot of big hits for us here at this early part of the game. But he certainly put a good swing on that ball, and that was great to see. I think Joe McCarthy will hit quite a few more home runs in our uniform before his time's done. And you can see his athleticism putting him in center field today. I tell you, you go and you look at our outfield. When you have the likes of Fish and Downs and Joe McCarthy and Pappy when he's out there. I mean, you're talking about 4 really physical guys that are very, very good athletes that can run out there and go get the ball. So we're fortunate to have all those guys.
Scott Silverstein in the first game gives up a couple runs and still goes full 7 innings.
Yeah. Well, I thought that was big for us. You know, when you're playing a doubleheader and you're playing 4 9-inning ball games in a matter of 3 days, you know, it was important for him to eat up the middle of the game like he did and give us 7 strong innings. And, you know, you just don't know what kind of ball game you're going to be in the next game. And, you know, the fact that we didn't have to use very many pitchers allowed us to bring wit into the game when we did in the second ball game.